Hello, this is Lisa Russick with the podcast We're All Psychic. And today, if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, I am with Matt Awesome. Would you like to say hello, Matt?
What's going on, guys and gals?
Oh, he is not picky about addressing people, apparently, or he is picky about addressing people. And I would like to ask you a question right away. Do you think we're all psychic?
I believe there's, in some way, sure, yeah.
In some way?
Yeah.
Do you have, like, intuition, or do you think everybody has intuition?
I don't know.
That's where most people go when they get on the podcast. They're like, well, if they don't know for sure, if they don't have really a good idea about what they want to say, they usually say, but I do think there's intuition.
Yeah.
You know, like, well, there's intuition. Everybody has that.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd say so, yeah.
And another example is my phone going off every single time I do a podcast. Did you hear that? Did you hear that,
I
listeners?
heard it, yeah.
Well, I'll probably cut it out, right, listeners? You don't hear how many times my phone actually goes off in a podcast.
Much like how, before we recorded this, the plane was coming by. I'm sure we're going to see a plane.
Yes, he did, and he was right.
During this episode. Well, maybe, depending on how long the episode is.
He predicted an airplane. I said, do you know the airplane schedule? He said, well, is it psychic if I don't? And that is a very good point.
I guess we'll see.
I guess we'll see if there is. And
depending on how long this podcast.
He didn't say if he knows the podcast, the airplane schedule, though. You didn't say that.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if we see one. So.
It wouldn't surprise me either, seeing there is a
during this episode. Well, depending on how long the episode is, which I don't know how long it'll be. But.
Usually it would go about 20 to 40 minutes, maybe an hour. You know, we just see what happens. Usually.
Yeah.
Just kind of let it go. So at this point, listeners and watchers, I want to tell you how I know Matt Awesome. He is a musician and poet in Nashville, and I met him at an open mic at a place called
Sweetwater.
Springwater. I want to call it Sweetwater because of the beer.
Oldest dive bar in Nashville.
Springwater. It is the oldest dive bar?
Yeah,
oldest dive bar?
In Tennessee,
really. I thought it was the oldest bar. Because it just
in
says,
Tennessee, yeah.
Oldest bar in Tennessee, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll have to do a podcast there, listeners, watchers.
According to the bar owner, but which I ain't gonna.
It says it outside. It looks like
yeah.
it's the oldest bar in Nashville.
Oh yeah, if you've been in it,
it's like a staple in there. It's beautiful though. It's like the people there are just so pretty. I loved it. I would love to do a podcast there and just interview all the drunk musicians.
Yeah, I need to get back on my podcast.
Yes, he does have a podcast, listeners and watchers. Would you like to tell them about this?
Well, it discontinued about 3 years ago. Dead Inside podcast may bring it back. We'll see.
He might, if he has a way to do the technology. So if you're a person who pitches doing technology for podcasts for house cleaning services in Nashville, I said I'd do it. Except I like editing. You know, I do like editing, so I totally would do that for you to clean my apartment because I can't stand cleaning. You heard it here. He's doing it. You're hired.
All right.
He's going to start his podcast back as of now. And you go to talk to just random people about what? What do you do?
Well, it was called Dead Inside Podcast, and I just get dead inside their head. Why they do music? Why are they a spoken word artist?
Why do they do what they do?
Why are they in this business, and, why are they running it the way they are,
That's cool. So you get to know people
it's a variety, kind of
Yeah.
like my own show that I do, I have a variety of people. Like, I don't care what you do at my show. It's an open mic. It's an open stage.
Yeah.
The other night, I was just hanging out with some buddies at the bar, and, we were at Carl's. It's literally called Carl's.
I've heard of it, but I haven't.
It's, right by the zoo.
Okay.
Over here.
I used to live over there.
And the other night, me and my buddies, we went outside, and there was this guy that just started talking to us, and he wanted to show us, a magic trick. And
is it the dimes and quarters thing?
Well, he did show, a one with a quarter, but the one I was most impressed with, he had, a lit cigarette. And he had one of my buddies just, get his shirt, kind of do it like that, and put the lit cigarette right there.
The burning part right there?
Yes.
Okay.
And
it pulled it through?
The cigarette wasn't in there, and there was no hole in his shirt.
But he pulled it through?
No, the cigarette.
He just looked like
the
he was
cigarette went missing.
Oh, it went missing.
Yeah.
That's even weirder.
Yeah.
So he never had it in his hand by the time he got to her shirt, is my guess, as a magician myself.
And the shirt had no hole.
Yeah, that's cool.
I was like...
Where'd it go? Was there no smoke or anything? The smoke went away in her shirt, and it's just gone. Maybe that was
whole cigarette.
I believe it. It's magic. Yeah, magic is a real thing. You don't think it is? Now, I don't know if people do that.
Well, from what I saw, I was like, dude, you need to come to my show.
Yeah, there you go.
Be like a feature, because what other open mics have
magicians are awesome. So, yeah, we magicians are needed at an open mic night. You should go hunt that guy down, make him do it. Hey, if you see this podcast, Mr.
He's on my Facebook, so.
Hey, if you see this master of magician, come be on the podcast. Come do his
name's Joshua. I got him on Facebook, so.
Okay, Joshua.
I got a message.
And a podcast here, a podcast there, and an open mic night for you. You got a lot of stuff to do. You're suddenly very busy. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to dig into the psychic stuff for you. I'm going to dig in there a little bit.
Okay.
So, did you ever have any experiences in your life that you thought were a psychic experience? Like, did you ever think of a friend and then they called? Like, that's pretty much everybody's had that happen, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, like, the most recent example would be, funny story. It was 4th of July, usual Friday night. You know, my buddy Jesse, who was at the show Monday, he had his show at Shipwreck Cove. That's your shout out, Jesse. Happens every summer, you know, out on the lake. Really nice show. But, you know, afterwards, you know, I kind of want, you know, party, do karaoke. So that night, you know, there was this chick that I met, you know, not thinking too much of it, you know, I'm just having a fun time, you know, being drunk, you know, yeah, let's party, let's sing. But, you know, she started talking to me and she's kind of flirty. I'm like, all right, whatever. But I ended up staying at, you know, or actually, I actually had a hotel that night because I was driving, and I'm not driving my happy ass back to Hendersonville.
Yeah,
because I beat
very
two
happy
DUIs
ass,
in 2 years. If you need a lawyer for DUI in Sumner County, talk to me. I know a lawyer that got me out of 2 of them. So, but anyways, yeah, she stayed at my hotel. I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna be a one-night deal, and it wasn't really that. It was maybe a 2-week deal. But the next day, you know, she invited me over, you know. We went swimming. I wanted to go swimming. And then she grilled out, cooked out for me. I'm thinking, oh, okay, there may be something here, you know, but I ain't gonna do... But part of me was like thinking, okay, she's being way too nice.
Yeah.
Something's up here.
So your intuition was telling you something.
Yeah, like something's up here. Like there is no way someone I just met, especially female, being this nice, buying me, cooking for me, let me stay at her place.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, if I did that, I would probably, unless it was like a kid, you know, like a 16-year-old who had nowhere to go.
Right.
You know? But I mean, if I were, as a 50-year-old woman, if I had a man at my house and I'm doing all that and having him stay, I probably do have an interest.
Right.
Unless he has nowhere to go and I'm helping
right.
him. You know, that's like a different scenario, though, you know?
But anyways, but we were seeing each other for 2 weeks, and everything was fine. But then, randomly, out of the blue, she sends this text, like, just going off on me, you know, saying I'm a pedophile. Even though she's
You're a pedophile? She's older than you, though, right?
Yeah, she's 10 years older than me.
They're not in the black butterfly. I see a lot of those.
Not a plane yet. But, yeah, she starts calling me all this, and then said some stuff about... You know,
she felt that way. That's why she probably said that.
Like, I think it was a lot. Yeah, exactly. A lot of projection because, you know, her family life isn't the greatest, you know, and she was, like, taking shots about my upbringing, even though she doesn't know anything about my upbringing.
After 2 weeks of dating or whatever?
It wasn't even.
It was situationship.
We were just seeing each other, you know.
Jennifer Love on this. She was a regular guest on this podcast, and she did a love series, and she taught me what the word situationship means. I've used it ever since.
Situationship. I guess it was a situationship. I mean, to me, I just saw it as, all right, we're just seeing each other and what happened. Really, like, for me, it's like whenever I see someone, it's like, okay, whatever happens, happens. You know, like, I'm not.
That's kind of how it is in general in my
especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
It's just like,
well, a lot of women that I've talked to are like, well, why don't guys take us out anymore? And I was like, it's kind of like they're all dating like it's the 90s. You know? We just hang out at each other's houses. That's what we did in the 90s. You know, so I say to a lot of these women, like, that's what the guys do now.
Because, funny, I had this because, like, I've had this I've heard conversations with, like, a lot of my friend groups that are, like, older than me, and, like, one of my friends, he was dating someone way younger than him. You know, she was legal age, clarify. But, you know, even she was telling him, like, yeah, like like, she was around my age, and she was telling him, like, yeah, these days, you know, like, this generation, they just, you know, want to have sex and, you know. Like,
or your generation? Because I've heard the opposite about, our generation.
No, my generation.
Oh, your generation.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Your generation is Generation X or I'm Generation X. Are you Z?
Whichever is
millennial or I don't know these things. So educate me. Are you
It's,
millennial or? So you would be more.
I was born in 97,
97,
so it's
okay.
like Gen Z. I want to say it's Gen Z.
My stepson was born in 99, and he had always called himself a millennial, I think.
Okay. I'm probably a millennial. Yeah,
So
I'm
I think
probably
you're a
a
millennial. I think if you're a millennial, if you're born around the change.
It's always
yeah,
around that time
like that.
frame,
Yeah.
But no, she was telling him that, the, like, you know, generation that I'm in, you know, all they want to do, like.
I've never heard that. I've
Well,
seen
that's
the
what she told
30-year-olds do
him.
that. The 35-year-olds are like that I've met. But all the kids around my stepson's age have been like, we just want the one. They're in Alabama anyway. I didn't meet many kids that age except raising them in Alabama, and you know they would be like, oh, I don't want to date that girl for no reason. Just have sex with her seems stupid.
Right.
Like what? That was like Generation X was like we were taught to go find the person. You know, go sleep with all these people by the hippies.
Right.
You know, the free love generation. You know, they told us to go out and find our person, so we didn't really settle down very easily. You could say.
Yeah.
You know? But I thought, your generation, like the people in their 20s were much nicer than or like more, not nicer, I guess that's the judgmental word.
I don't know, man.
But they were more about the feels, is what I've seen. They're more about the feelings than the physical.
Well, for me, it's like, I don't really associate myself with a lot of people in my age group anyways, because, like, I don't really get along with them, or, you know, they're just not as fun to hang out with, you know, compared to people that are, you know, old enough to be my parents, or, you know, and plus, I don't know, the friend groups I have, you know, it's mainly, like, artists, you know, so it's like...
Me too. Mine are
you know, I'm just here to have a fun time, have a good time, you know, have no stress in my life, and really every time, you know, I try to get into some serious...
I was about to say, if you have a relationship, it's going to be crazy. I mean, every relationship is a war in, love and war, or...
All fair is love and war.
Thank you. That's the saying. All is fair in love and war. Yes, I think that is a true statement. Because, I mean, people do things in love that they should not, they would be put in jail for, and they get away with it, you know?
Yep.
You know?
Yep, got a story about that, but I don't want to talk about it.
Don't tell that story.
Happened, yeah.
Don't tell that story.
No,
You don't need that story. But that is true. You knew all along. Those whole 2 weeks you're with her, would you say you kind of sensed that there might be...
From the get-go, like, it was in the back of my head, but I didn't think about it because, you know, I'm enjoying myself.
Yourself, yeah.
But I still had it in the back of my head, you know... She's being way too nice. Something's up here.
Yeah.
Something is up. I can't...
Did you find out what was up?
I couldn't pinpoint it until she just randomly, you know, did it. When she randomly lashed out for no reason. And, you know, judging from the text... Because she did it all through text. She didn't even, you know...
Oh, you didn't do it... You spent, like, 2 weeks together? And she didn't even see your face and say this stuff to you?
Like, we saw each other maybe a few days prior.
Yeah.
But then, you know, just randomly, she just went off through text.
Yeah.
And that was it, you know, and it was like, you know, and she mentioned something about, I guess she was so upset that I left a pair of pants on her floor, which her floor was already messy to begin with, so it's like...
So that triggered a bunch of trauma for her,
guess,
like, or something,
you know, and it's like, and then she's like, I will be violent, but not in a sexual way, which I'm like, okay.
Did you ask her to be? is that a random statement? Or?
Yeah, she randomly blurted that out, which... Is that a plane?
No, that's the ship, I think. There's a boat down there in the river that the barges come by.
It sounded like a plane for a minute.
It did sound like a plane. We're going to have to talk until a plane goes by, you guys.
I guess. But no, it was just like, you know, she randomly said that. I'm like...
So what do you think underneath that all along you felt something? What do you think it was? What was wrong? What was wrong with her situation? What was wrong with her feelings?
You know, I think it was just, you know,
she didn't really care, maybe, or did she not care about you, but she cared about what you meant to her more than you yourself?
I can't really...
That's what it sounds like.
I think she just had, like, a lot of, you know, there's, like, a lot of things wrong with her, you know, like, I don't think she's really all there, and especially, like, when she lashed out, she, gave some information that I was like, whoa, okay, I didn't know this about you, but, yeah, I'm definitely, this ain't gonna work out, I was like, because one, she really disrespected me. Like, I don't care what she says, but, talking crap about, my family.
Yeah, it's not...
When you don't even know anything about my family life, like, like, I can't. But, and I think she wanted me to... There is a part of me that was like, maybe if I had, like... I think she wanted me to react, which I didn't do it towards her, because if I did that, she's getting what she wanted. She wanted me to, like...
She wanted to fight, yeah.
And I was like, you know what? You ain't worth it.
But how did you know that's what she wanted?
I think,
Intuition. Or experience.
Yeah, I would say experience, too, because, I've, had my fair share of, like, women that I've dealt with, and a lot of times they wanted to, ruffle my feathers a bit, get me all amped up.
Well, he's an Aries, guys, so, you can only imagine.
Now, back then, I really had a short fuse. Like, I had a temper. It was bad. Like,
most people who are Aries do, or they have Aries moon, or Aries rising.
I'm a chill guy, but until you, like, piss me off, do something, like...
That's the ship. It do that. Matt did that. He would dump his trash all over the river when he was younger. Like that. That's what's happening there, listeners, if you can hear that. But I'm going to try to chop it out. But I do hear an airplane. Oh, airplane! Did you hear airplane?
I was right.
He was right, guys. Let's see. Did we get it? I think it's in there. I can't tell.
I heard it,
Matt sees it. He heard it. I heard it. I saw it. I think the listeners saw it.
I heard it.
Put this back pretty.
So I was right.
He was right. You did predict an airplane. Do you predict another airplane? Feel into it. There goes my phone. Is that funny or what? That is funny.
Yeah.
See, we're starting to get you psyched out now. Starting to psych him out, listeners and watchers.
If it goes on...
I'm not chopping anything out of this podcast.
All right. If it goes... all right, if this episode goes another 20 minutes, there probably will be another plane.
Probably will, yeah. Because that's just about 20 minutes. That was about 30 minutes.
I don't know how long this episode's been.
I don't either. I can look at the timer. It has been 17 minutes and 21 seconds.
All right, yeah.
So, listeners, we have to dig some more out of Matt. It's really hard to get stuff out of this poet. It's supposed to be easy to get stuff out of a poet, but he's a really hard get. So, talk about when you were little. Like, when you were a kid, did you remember, like, did you play outside a lot, or what did you do when you were a kid? Because weird stuff happened when we're kids. That's when all the stuff usually starts.
Honestly, lots of my childhood's been blocked out.
Really? Yeah.
Because my childhood wasn't bad, but it was just like, didn't really like it, you know? Well, there were some parts of my childhood I did, enjoy, but it was just like, I didn't really have, the friends I grew up with as a child, I don't have any connection with them whatsoever. I'd say my longest friend was probably, I think the longest friend I got now is like 15 years.
Yeah.
Which I met them in middle school, which is crazy.
Yeah,
but,
that's my oldest friend is from middle school. But she kept in touch with me. I wouldn't still be friends with her if she hadn't.
But it's just like, as I got older, found out exactly what I wanted to do, find out more about myself. It's like, I think whatever's in the past kind of stays in the past. I don't really look back at my past. I just look forward to the now and the future.
Yeah, why not?
So,
why don't you look at the past at all? Does it help?
I'll reflect on it, but I just don't like dwelling on it, because I think the more of the past I think about, the more it like kind of gets me into that zone where I'm like, kind of brings me back to when, I had the, anger issues, and
the vote's going.
Yeah.
When you talked about your anger again.
Yeah.
It's just kind of ironic, I don't know.
Right.
It's a little strange, wouldn't you call it? I would call it perfectly normal.
But yeah, like, I was just kind of a negative person, I guess.
Yeah, I was
back
too.
then. And, I don't want to be that person. I want to be, more.
That's what happened to me, too. I was so negative. I was just the most depressed person on the planet.
Yep.
And I got sick of being that way. I really did.
Yeah.
I really did. And I'd still look back, though, now. It doesn't help. Sometimes it does, because I realize how far away I've gotten from stuff that makes me go crazy.
Like, I'll think about it, but, I don't let it consume me.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So.
I mean, I've got, like, there's, like, relationship issues from the past that were very, like, I find them traumatic now. And at the time they were, I just didn't let it be. I just kind of kept riding the waves. Thinking one, eventually I'll just find one that'll steady out all the ocean. But none of them ever did it. So listeners know this, but I was in a relationship for like 10, 12, like a long time. So someone who's very verbally abusive to me.
Yeah.
And so I'm dealing with that, It's been 3 years out of that marriage, but I'm still like in a lot of pain from that.
Oh, yeah.
Really bad. And I have to like explain to people why I have these, probably like your friend, your woman friend. She probably had issues like that too. And I have like had relationships since that marriage, and I do go crazy. I have been crazy on an ex-boyfriend before, because I had been told all this shit, and I got used to this kind of dynamic that every relationship had to end up like this, But I was taught that from earlier relationships too. Don't have emotional displays or else, So I have to look back at that so that I can heal it in a way, make peace with it, and then I can have peaceful relationships.
Right.
That's what I'm trying. That's where I'm at anyway. With that, and that's my phone again.
And I think
there's an eagle. Look. There's an eagle.
I think I hear another plane.
There's an eagle.
I see the eagle.
There's an eagle.
I could have sworn I heard another plane.
I hear a plane. Yeah, I hear a plane.
So I was right. There was another plane that happened.
That was right. There was another. We just can't see it. It was like over there.
Yeah, it was way over
It's
there.
in the clouds. Yeah, there was an eagle, guys. I mean, if that's not a third plane, I don't know what a third plane is. There is an eagle that lives around here. They know that. They've seen the eagle.
Right.
There's 2 eagles that live here, actually. I think they're a mated pair. They're 2 brown eagles.
Mm-hmm.
But how often do you see an eagle?
An eagle?
I mean, I live here, so I see that eagle a lot. But you personally.
Probably every once in a blue moon.
Nashville does have eagles. I've seen a bald eagle.
I've seen them too, but probably like every once in a blue moon.
I see them a lot because they live here.
Well, maybe it's because, I'm...
You don't live here.
Well, not only that, it's just I'm always out and about.
Yeah,
so it's like
that seems like that's where you see them.
I'm always out on the road,
Yeah,
I'm always out at the bars, so it's not like I'm going to go outside and be like, oh,
well,
it's an eagle,
they do just kind of come around
right.
when they have something to say. So I wonder what that eagle had to say.
Like, I'll probably, like, if I was, not as out as much, maybe I'd see it,
But, you've just been out. You're outside. I mean, you're going to be outside at the Parthenon today. We thought about doing this podcast at the Parthenon, so we'll save that for another time.
Yeah.
Something cool. And we decided to do it at my apartment complex on the Sky Deck, and this is where I did my 6 years podcast. If you watched that one or listened to that one, because that was when I had done this podcast for 6 years on August 6th, I think. Yeah. So let's see. I have any more questions for you? I just can't think of any questions except about your poetry. I really want to ask about your poetry. Okay. So when you write a poem, how does it come to you? When you start doing it, is it just like a phrase that comes to you, or do you just start going?
Whatever.
The stream of consciousness.
Whatever's in my mind, I'll just write whatever comes to mind, and I like to, lots of poetry. I feel like, especially in the scene in Nashville, I feel like a lot of poets are kind of like the same in terms of like their stage presence, their I feel like every poem they do, even though it may be different, they all kind of sound the same. I like to be different.
Yeah.
I like to try and use like different words, probably words that not a lot of people hear these days. Like I remember I was hanging out with my buddy Carlos. We were just shooting the shit. We were like smoking, getting high. And, we were watching this movie, and like during the movie, someone in the movie said the word delicacy, and I'm like, when's the last time I've heard that word delicacy? I kind of want to put that in a poem, so I was like, I actually on my phone I'll like write down words that I hear that I'm like I haven't heard in a while.
Yeah.
People that haven't heard that in a while, because I sure as hell haven't heard that word in a while. I'm like, I'm going to somehow put this in a poem, and it's going to make sense on how I'm feeling in that poem, so.
It's cool, yeah. I love poetry.
So I try to, be very different, with my style, because I have, like, a unique...
You sound like you're talking, but it's poetic. It is poetic talking to me.
Yeah.
Spoken word. It is spoken word, like true spoken word.
And I do have, like
beatniks is what you remind me of. Is like the beatnik generation.
Okay, yeah.
Jack Kerouac and, those guys. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I just...
like from the 50s and the 60s, they'd get up there. and they cha-cha-cha. They snap their fingers and they talk about it. You don't do that, but you do kind of like you're speaking about yourself, and that's how they did their stuff.
I have my own.
You have your own rhythm and rhyme to it when you do it, and even if like whatever you're saying, you say it, punctuate it. That's how the beatnik do.
And I think it's also helped too that since I've been going to Springwater, like at first I was just doing it without any musical accompaniment. But then sometime, like maybe a few months later, I forgot who it was. It may have been the sound guy or my buddy Mike that plays slide guitar for anyone there. Someone told me like, hey, you need to have music behind your poetry. And now how I got into poetry, I always loved writing, but originally I wanted to be in a band and that didn't work out. That's a story for another time. But that night I was like, you know what? I'll try it, I'll have music behind the poetry. And that night I was like, okay, there may be something here. And since then I feel like I've gotten better as a performer. I've evolved as a performer. And since I was, because I was like pretty much like the only poet. There was like a few other poets that were at the Springwater open mic, but since I've been there doing it, other poets tried doing the same thing, but it just didn't come across as,
It wouldn't be authentic because you did it first.
Yeah, right.
He's really punk rock.
Because there are some that, tried doing it, and it was like, when I do it, it's different.
That's cool, though. You inspired people to try to do a totally different art form than they've ever done. That's badass. You inspired that out of them.
Yeah, I mean, that is
cool as shit.
Like, that is
flattery. And, in the highest form, it really is. If people are imitating you, there is no higher form of flattery.
Right.
It's like they want to be like you. I mean, how can you not
and
love
it's like,
that? You've inspired artists to be artistic. It's the best.
Yeah, but part of me is also like, man, I did
it first.
Like, I did it before it was like the cool thing for other poets to do.
Everyone knows that, though, right? Who is in the area. They remember who did it.
Or at least when I was doing it, there was like no other poets there.
Yeah.
I mean, there were, but they were just doing it.
Poets are shy, usually. And you're an Aries poet, which is an unusual combination in the metaphysical world. Mm-hmm. The poets would usually be the Pisces and the, maybe a Cancer, Scorpio. I was a poet. I have a published poetry book.
I need to order one then.
Now I published it myself because it went out of print. But it's on Amazon. It's a typewriter poetry book.
I need to get a poetry book out. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, you should.
I need to work on it.
You can easily do that now.
Well, I may have a poetry album soon. So
that's a good idea.
Well,
that's a better idea.
I should be in the studio sometime this month. I don't know when, but.
When that happens, guys, I will let you know about it, listeners and watchers. And with that, Matt, I want to thank my sponsor, Evercore. First of all, do you have anywhere you are online that people can find you?
All right, at it's Matt Awesome, ITS Matt with 2 T's Awesome on Instagram, Facebook. If you type in Matt Awesome or Matt Nowak, that's me on Facebook.
Nowak.
Yep.
And I'll put the stuff in the description of the podcast.
And that's where I'm at, social media-wise. If you want to check out the old Dead Inside podcasts on YouTube.
I'll put a link to
There's a bunch of them, but you'll see the one that has me in, the thumbnail or whatever with the guest. So you'll know which one. But,
cool.
Yeah.
And you may see more if I do work on him to clean my house to edit his podcast.
Also,
because I love doing that, editing.
while we're at it, if you're in Nashville, open mic, I do an open mic.
He does, and I performed at it.
Yep.
Does that tell you two, though? You do 2, or do you just 1?
Well, I do 2 right now. Well, my main one is at Fran's.
That was this
which
first
is
Monday?
on
Second Monday.
Second Monday of every month. Fran's, East Side on Dickerson Pike, East Nashville, 7 o'clock to 9:30ish, sometimes 10. It's a vibe. You can do anything you want. Poetry, music, comedy.
There's cool people there too, and they have very inexpensive brews.
$2.50 for a Coors Light, whereas you go to Bridgestone, it's $19.
They didn't even make me pay for my beer.
well, you were the feature, so I had to buy your drinks.
I know, I'm just kidding. He bought me drinks. It was awesome.
Yeah. And plus, you played behind me too, so I was like, all right, I got it.
It's fun. And then where's your other one that you just...
The other one's in Hendersonville, Tennessee, like 25 minutes from Nashville at Just Love Coffee. Well, actually, before my show Monday, the GM of that place, she messaged me, and I ain't gonna do it this month because I guess their store's gonna be closed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But right now we're kind of like talking about moving it on another night because her boss wants it on another night. So.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to figure that out, like
yeah, right now. So whenever I get more info on that, you'll see it on my Instagram or Facebook. So
yeah, go
when I get more info on that. So
yeah, totally.
But Fran's is the main one that I've been doing.
And listeners, and watchers, before I thank Everclear, I do want to let you know that he's not going to give advice. He is going to perform for us, right? Unless you want to do advice too. You have advice to the listeners about how to feel comfortable performing their poetry, perhaps, with their energy out, hanging out all over the place. Because it's hard to perform with your energy hanging out all over the place. You know what I mean? Because it's vulnerable. It's vulnerable to be a poet standing up there talking about your vulnerable stuff.
Well, for me, it's different. Like,
me, it'd be hard.
I just go out and do it. You know, like that's just me.
That'd
you know,
be really
I
hard
don't
for
care.
me.
Like, I'm an open book. I'm always out at the bars. I'm always drinking. I'm sure there's plenty of stories about me, whether they're true or not. You know? But me, I don't care. Like the people that know me well, that are my friends, like they know who I am, and that's all I care about. You know, so
yeah.
But yeah, I guess I could do a piece.
You can do a piece. Let me thank my sponsor, Everclear first. Everclear is an advice app and website where you can get advice from psychics and empaths so you can get the clarity to create the life you deserve. And I'm an advisor on Everclear under the name Lisa Russick. You can find me on everclear.com. And now, are you ready to perform?
Yes.
Would you like to beat your drum, or you want me to beat your drum for you, or are you going to
Actually, you can...
Oh, I'm going to beat the drum? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys, listeners and watchers. I'm going to back up so the drum doesn't get in there. That you have center stage, mister. Get up in there.
All right. A vortex. A secrecy looms. Every time I appear out in the open. My master. Before you wither away, this fire cannot be extinguished. Let the flames ascend more as I am poised in this heated scene, daring the opposition to make their move, only for it to slip through their fingers. How this all transpired is unfathomable. Much like the synthesis of who they turned out to be. In a universe full of anarchy, they chose to display weakness on their part. Or they knew to stop being so foolish after belittling old me. As if I'm beneath them. When clearly they're so low on the spectrum. They get triggered when they can't take what they want to dish out. Without cause. So I react. With a smile. That even their mother loves. Know this. The keys to the kingdom is not enough to unveil these stories behind the scars. All over this tormented body and mind. Certain folks like to paint an image. There's an old expression that goes along the lines of life imitating art. Depending on the creator of a masterpiece, there has to be some truth behind such a colorful, vibrant scheme. However, if you really take a good look through the mirror with no glass, it's really all a disguise. And what that picture really shows is a mask, hiding every little insecurity, every little lie untold. That author deserves no credit unless its work is recognized as fraudulent. This canvas has been stepped on quite a bit, illustrating the authenticity of the words and music by the pioneers of originality, who aren't fake with all the wear and tear of instruments, the sounds that are weary and teary. That's the art I live for, and it will never be taken away as long as I'm not 6 feet under, like the rest of the unfortunate. I ain't a poet, I'm a poet. Hell yeah, that was awesome.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt. And thank you, listeners and watchers, for watching and listening. I love you. Do you love the listeners and the watchers?
I love them.
He loves them. He loves you. Peace out. Bye.